Good morning, Alexandria. I'm Alan Ripke, informtv.com, and I hope you go to that website and subscribe. So when I put videos on that I've recorded about businesses or events or our city council work session, you have immediate access to it. Are ILS antennas just like we have on the north west end of our airport here, but they've got a screen in front of them. There we go. There we go. See, he's coming in for a safe landing. And we wouldn't be changing, even though we lengthen our airport with the displaced threshold, we wouldn't change our landing spot at all. And oh, it's a Frontier. That would could be an Airbus 319. But you see how close they are to traffic, people? And yet we have our airport commission trying to convince City Hall that we can't do anything here on the end of 1331, or our congressional delegation. Of course we can. I'm going to put our jets to the south end and use that big building as a terminal, and then we bring the jets on the south side and turn in so they don't bother the terminal. See, we go. Didn't catch what that was, so that's a Frontier or United or what it is. But by my camera looking at morning activity out of Midway Airport in Chicago, and we want to do the same thing here. We want to add 400 feet of displaced threshold, so when they take off to the northwest they have more, and we want to put at least 300 feet of pavement on the northwest end as well. Safety, safety, safety. Good morning, Alexandria. This is Alan Repke, informtv.com. I just want to show you Midway Airport. These are 737s, 700s, 737 800s, in other words, passenger jets that are holding anywhere from 120 to probably 160 people or more. And I just want to show you this site, this live site, is no closer than what I want to do at the intersection of 29 and County Road 46. That we want to do it just so we have a safer airport when we do work in 26 and 27. You see here, folks, I'm going to use my jig stick. There's a 737 ready to take off, a 737 there ready to take off. I don't want to bring 737s in here, but we can certainly bring the Embraer 175 in here if we stretch this end of our runway just for takeoff like they're doing in Chicago Midway. This is the same direction. This is runway 1331. These jets this morning are taking off into the northwest wind. At the same time, though, their wind is probably low enough that they're landing aircraft on runway 422, just like we also have here in Alexandria. Do you see that aircraft right there coming in? That one's landing. They're taking off. Look what we have here, Alexandria. When we don't want to get Alan Repke on the Airport Commission, of course we do. 1, 2, 3 full-size airliners that probably all you flyers have flown on at some point in time. The 737 before, these are just before the MAX, but I'm sure there'll be MAXes here as well. See them taking off, and You see the nice big fence here? When I first turned on, there was a couple walking by with a baby stroller, and there was a 737 taking off. They weren't doing anything different. This is the kind of fence we need to put up with. And if we want to encourage, see, they've got the ILS antennas there as well, but they've also got a screen in front of them to protect them from any jet blast. You see how this 737 is going here? This is the terminal area in Chicago Midway, and now another 737 from Southwest Airlines is coming into position. Southwest handles about 80% of the traffic coming out of Midway Airport. In a previous life, I used to fly in there a number of times each year and see conventions and whatever. And I'm just saying here, actually, I think our runway that goes to the northwest, and consider this coming around from 29 to head towards Wheaton. See how they're doing it? Look at a jogger is going right by there. And maybe we want to do the fence to the west a hair more, but look at the importance of that community where we have the FAA office and TKDA, our engineering firm that doesn't have any competition, because instead of having three, like Craig Anderson, our airport manager, said, bid on our rights, these guys have all become ESOPs, so they've eliminated the small engineering firms. See them taking off there, folks, with a 737. There's two more 737s right there from Southwest Airlines, and we need to do 400 feet on this end, and we will be no different, or in fact maybe a hair further away from the highway than they are here. Just think of busy Chicago and all the traffic they get compared to Alexandria, Minnesota. We are at a point in time where we cannot let the hangar owners dominate what our airport needs. And when we look at a 36-inch raw sewage pipe bringing things in from 11,000 people that surround us that don't pay a penny of their residential real estate tax, to the changes that were just made, the $14 million changes that were just made to our community center, now known as the Prime West Community Center. And I also want to show you, here's a business jet, and this is what I want to do. We have that building over here on city airport property. We already have an old taxiway. We bring those jets, all the jets from the south side of the airport. The jets won't affect Carl's Almer Health Clinic at all, and we need to separate them. We can have Alec Aviation continue to take care of general aviation on the north side, our small terminal, but when we start bringing in electric flights or whatever, you see, it's time we modernize our airport. And we're getting federal funds. They're going to pay for about 90% of it. Why are we just keeping it in a way that pleases about 60 hangar owners? People, do you realize we've got hangar owners that don't live in the city of Alexandria? They live in the townships that rent a T hangar that's about 1,200 square feet, a bifold door, there's electricity in there, and pavement in front, have a gate area to protect their property, and they only pay $120 per month. Others that are a little bit bigger only pay $160, and others that are quite a bit bigger only pay $180. Alan Repke, it's time we bump Dave Benson off there. He didn't follow the procedures. I followed through. He's just Marty's best friend, and it's time we get somebody that will not just vote for City Hall, a yes when they want a yes vote and no when they want a no vote. This is a community airport that needs to be regionalized. We need to get some money from Douglas County as well as the other counties surrounded here. We can get passenger service in and out of Alexandria. Bemidji brought in 28,500 people on a Delta jet. We can do the same here, or we can be a test area. I want to be a test area for essential air service. What kind of aircraft do we need to do to minimize the cost for the taxpayer, yet maximize the benefits for the flying public? And see the traffic here this morning? It's just incredible. See, there's two Southwest flights just landing. There's other coming. There's two more coming down the side here. Look at how that absorbent fence is. And if Craig and the other pilots in the area think that we should put ILS antennas on this end, hey, we can do it. So they can have instrument approaches coming in, landing to the northwest, or they can have instrument approaches taking off to the southeast. See how we got a business jet? Just imagine this, our watch. We have this big building sitting over here in the city of Alexandria. There's already an old taxiway. We update that, probably bring it down the whole side there. And so when business jets take off, they've got another 400 feet on this end, and if we follow the guidelines of Alan Repke, we'll have at least another 300 to 400 feet on the other end, and then make it really unique that we bring it to about 6,100 feet to really have a modern airport to bring in various aircraft. I'm not talking 737s, but the Embraer, these modern jets, and other CRJ aircraft from Bombardier in Canada. We're at a point in time when it is essential that we modernize our airport. Well, I thought I better clarify for you good folks where exactly I'm talking about. You see a general aviation aircraft there is coming in, likely a 172 Cessna, ready to take off at the Alexandria Airport. And we're talking here right on Highway 29, and right over there is the Alexandria Clinic. And if we spin all the way around here, if I'm not looking at the road ditch anyway, we spin all the way around. Down there is exit 103. So if you're just curious and not in the Alexandria area, but running down the freeway, you can just pull off on exit 103 or exit 100 right down there by the Pilot truck stop, and swing through here, maybe grab a bite to eat in one of the wonderful restaurants we have available in Alexandria, and to see what we're talking about. And you see that blinking light straight ahead of me, that's where we would extend the runway to this displaced threshold. and you can see that's above where I'm standing here right now. But that flashing light there, the first tall one, you come about 50 feet this side of that, and we'll have a full 400 feet of displaced threshold. And then, rather than this small fence here, we put up that higher fence right along the edge of the road ditch here in Alexandria that keeps any noise from bothering cars, and hopefully at some point we get a sidewalk along here as well for low-income people to walk to get wherever they need to go. And you see there's plenty of room to do it. And then we bring all the jet aircraft and hopefully passenger planes that can be anywhere from 19 seats to 125. And if we stretch runway 1331 here back to a minimum of 5,800 feet, but better to stretch it to 6,000, and the airlines like to come into a place that they have a 6 in front, even for the regional aircraft to come in. I'm talking not the major jetliners, don't get me wrong there, but these regional jets like an Embraer 175, 190, and maybe even their 125 at times. But you see this big building over here that for some reason, bad judgment, they extended the lease on that. That building we were going to get back in 2029 and should, but that building can be used for aircraft or a terminal building only. We don't need manufacturing there, some special friend to City Hall to get a good deal. This is airport property, and we want to make sure that those two buildings on the south side, as well as hangars, we have people coming out and they're tinkering their hangar on a daily basis, and these rental hangars are really cheap. And I want one of the half hangars right on the north side over here, just for exposing how City Hall just has not kept track of what's going on in the airport, and these guys that don't live in city limits but get every benefit times 5 compared to the average citizen gets. And we just have to see that we all consider ourselves what we are, residents of Alexandria, and we all pay our fair share, and then we'll keep taxes down for everybody. And we need to make our friend Craig Anderson a full-time manager, or from a standpoint, he can still do what he's doing, but he is in charge of all the buildings. There's no special deal for Alexandria Aviation of utilizing some of the city-owned buildings out there. We need to see that Craig steps up and makes sure that we're getting adequate rent and all the money. It was in the newspaper, well, they want to keep the money, the revenue from the airport at the airport. That was a suggestion I made on camera to our friend Craig, as well as the Airport Commission. And you can see here right now, when we have a busy Monday morning in Midway Airport in downtown area of Chicago, how traffic is handled. They're addressing any noise issues, and they have business as usual. See all the traffic here? I've seen it actually twice this level at other point in times when they're taking off with jets. But once again, 1, 2, 3 737s. either taking off or getting ready to take off. This displaced threshold right here, they land a little further down, and that's what I continue to propose for Alexandria, but we put displaced threshold that they take off in a very similar situation here in Alexandria. I want those business jets that have some incredibly important people for our community or come to our community, that they are in a position to have all the fuel on board with enough runway to safely take off and get any place in the lower 48. That has to be done. Don't be afraid of your councilman or your mayor, people. We need to modernize our airport. See, they got a city bus right there as a 737 700, 800, or MAX is taking off. I thought I'd also need to give you a quick thought of how when Eagle Aircraft, a biplane spray plane, was made here, they had this path to the end of runway 1331, and we in the future need to do some form of this for getting jets down on the south side. See, straight ahead is the Alexandria Clinic. The north side is where our old terminal is. It's fine for general aviation, but we talked jets, business jets coming in here, or passenger planes, even electric passenger planes that'll hold 30 people. We're the perfect distance to MSP. The Swedish one that is really moving forward for certification fast holds 30 people, and its maximum range is 108 to 109 nautical miles. That's exactly what the Alexandria Airport is to MSP. And I swing here. This is the 56,000 square foot building that's on airport property here, that all City Hall had to do is ignore it or negotiate with the owners from New York or New Jersey and say, we'll buy that building for you, from you. You haven't had any revenue out of it in 3 years. This is not a building designed for manufacturing anymore. That's why Douglas Machine moved out, and it hasn't rented. They own the building, but the city owns the land beneath it. And if I can get my system to work with my iPhone, I want to give you some real insight on that building as well. So just want to make sure we're current and we don't let anybody talk the citizens out of not bringing passenger service or lengthening our runways when we have all this federal money to benefit all people. And you just turn off the freeway at 103 or exit 100. If you're running late to get to MSP, catch a plane here and fly down there with your baggage already checked through. And we can easily do it in the summer because the people that check baggage in St. Cloud are laid off in the summertime. But I think we'll find our passenger service would work extremely well year-round. Now the traffic stopped right there, and nobody's worried about any excess noise because they got a modern, thick, high fence there, and we need to do the same here in Alexandria. And the beautiful sunny day in Chicago with this cold front coming through, they switched to the point where they're using 1331, just like when you stop at just before the Chevy dealership, and you can see how busy it is. One just came in, 2 others are taxiing to the terminal area over here, 2 here are taxiing to take off. Just when they turn here, they're 300 and some feet away. They've got ILS antennas. We've got ours right now just on the far end, and we could do the same here if that's what Craig and our commercial pilots. And we have one of the gentlemen on our airport commission. He flies Boeing Dreamliner, the 787, all the way to Dubai. And on his return flight, it's over 14 hours, people. So we just got to see that, hey, this airport isn't for you guys horsing around with your general aviation, which I totally support. But at the same time, we need to make sure that the FAA office in Minneapolis sees to it that the airport in Alexandria is upgraded. We used to have 250 feet wide runways, 5,800 feet long here. And from a standpoint of this one, we need to make sure that gets at least to 5,800 again, rather than shrink it a few feet like they're talking. And so everybody in Alexandria can take a flight to wherever, but mainly just a jump to where you check your baggage in Alexandria, and then you fly from Alexandria to MSP, a slick flow of your baggage and your time. You don't have to get to the airport 3 hours early if you fly out of Alexandria. But you gotta be brave enough to challenge Marty, Mike, the mayor, and your city council members that this 500 acres in Alexandria does not belong to those 50 or 60 hangar owners. It belongs to all the citizens of Alexandria. And when we get done with federal money doing most of the cost at our airport, and I'm even proposing rather than 100 feet wide. In fact, that sleepy FAA office and our engineering firm wanted to narrow our runway that now is 100 feet wide. We need to actually push it 2 more tar swipes, so it's about 100. What is it? Goes to 124 or 125 feet wide. And I thought this was a great day, the first cool day. What do I have? The 5th of October here in Alexandria. And I want to show you we can't let 60 hangar owners keep 500 acres as if it is their personal property. Yes, I want them to rent hangars, but no, when they have all the bells and whistles in their hangars that they want. You don't rent a 1,200 and some square foot hangar that has an electric door that raises the whole side of the building, snow removal, tar access, fenced in area, and they get it for $120. And one of their hangar owners told me to shut up when I made a few good questions with permission from our airport manager, Craig Anderson. He needs to be an employee of the city so he gets the incredible benefits now that our city employees have arranged for themselves. They work hard, they're professional people, no matter what they do, and they deserve it. yet at the same time, Craig Anderson deserves pension benefits, health benefits, and the others that our dedicated city employees get. Take this to the mayor, the councilman, Marty, and Mike Weber. It's time when we do things. If they can do this in Chicago, we can certainly do it here, and we must. Alan Repke reporting, informtv.com, and get me a full-time channel on Spectrum as well as a channel on Selective TV. It easily can be done. We're just letting people censor you from seeing what my camera looks at on a regular basis. You'll enjoy it. You need to see that the First Amendment in Alexandria includes Inform TV. Thank you and have a great day. At the same time, all the lease contract buildings we have are run by Craig and not Alec Aviation. And you'll see what I'm getting at, and I support the city doing a new roof on the north side of the Blanca building. I think they should do first where Dennis Kahn is with his new simulator, as well as the higher roof to the west, and maybe one stream to the south of that. Because I think the bar joists there are more than adequate. The rest of that building, there's some questions with bar joists that support the roof, and I don't think we need to spend big money on that at this point in time. But we definitely need a new roof on the north end of the old Blanca building. And folks, let's make sure we put some pressure on the mayor, city council members, and Carl at Alamere Health that we put a curb and gutter out to the side of that grass there and heavy asphalt yet this fall. And the one-way sign, put it on another post and put a swing away if they think a semi-van may bump it a little bit. But you see how people have to drive, and by spring there's 2-foot deep ruts there. It's ridiculous that the mayor, city council hasn't widened out this strip of gravel to not to concrete, but to asphalt, and put a curb along there so it stays where it belongs. We need 3 full lanes here, one to turn left, one to go straight ahead, and the other to turn to the south. Get on them. They've neglected this long enough. It's a disgrace to the city of Alexandria.